chopper hunter with a machine gun. I don't think I've ever done that before. Holy shit. I truly am the chopper hunter. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever episode of my new series called Adventures in Votech, which is a pretty much me telling stories about my experiences in vocational school. So, before I begin this episode, allow me to say, God damn, that was one hell of a chopper hunter clip, wasn't it? I'd like to know if somebody ever did that with a machine gun, take out a chopper. It must have been on low health, but Jesus, I took that thing out. I was like, what? How did I do that? So, there's no downing it now, folks. I truly am the chopper hunter. Anyway, and also, this gameplay is a Fire Squadron gameplay in the Death Star trenches. I will say this, I do start off relatively slow, but then I pick up the pace a little bit towards the end, and I end up doing pretty well for the most part, so hope you guys enjoy that in the background. So, the reason I went to vocational school in the first place was because I felt like I wanted to be a chef at the time. Now, I was a sophomore in high school during this period of time. I was a sophomore and junior throughout the 2 years I went there. So, I said, you know, because I love watching the Food Network and stuff, so I was like, you know what, it'd be a cool idea to be a chef one day. Little did I know the amount of work it would take, but we'll get to that as we progress throughout this series. So, I always used to watch the Food Network, and I'm like, that would be a pretty cool thing for me to do one day. So, I spoke to a couple of advisors that I had in school, or counselors or whatever, and I said, you know what, this is something I really want to do. And they made a couple phone calls, and turns out there was actually two vocational schools. One had the program, one didn't, but they were all relatively within a half hour of my house, maybe within 20 minutes. So, and I'd be bused there and stuff like that. So I went to the where did I go? I went to like the open house and all that stuff. I'm like, you know what, this would be really cool. And I was looking forward to it. And a couple of my friends were also going with me. My friend Brianna, who she's like one of my closest friends. She had been to a camp, I think, and the guy who was a chef, the guy who ran the class, he also ran the camp or whatever. So she knew the guy already. So she knew the guy. So that was so at least she knew him. I didn't really know what I was getting into, or the people I'd be encountered, or the people I would encounter. So I was a little bit scared. But when I walked in, you know, I was like, I felt like I couldn't breathe for a minute or two. Like, I didn't know who would walk in and all that stuff. Actually, when me, Brianna, another one of my buddies, Juan, when we walked in, you know, I saw this girl, right? And she was like, to me, she was hot. I was like, God damn. I felt like I was looking at an angel for a second. You know, I was like, God damn, she was that hot, you know? Of course, I don't have any picture, but because that'd be a little bit creepy. But I mean, she was hot. So I knew if people like this were going to be walking in, I was like, then this would be a little bit more difficult than I thought in terms of interacting with people, because I don't have the best, well, at least I don't think I have the best social life, I guess you could say, out there, or at least I didn't at the time. So, and I always found it difficult to make friends, so I was a little bit scared of, you know, if any other hot girl's going to be there that I got to be afraid of to talk to now, or any other people who I'm going to hate, because I literally hated a majority of the people in my high school class, honestly. In all honesty, I couldn't stand high school, because I just hated the people that went there. So many fucking spoiled pieces of shit, you'd have no idea. You think they think their shit didn't stink, most likely. But so what was I gonna say? So yeah, in the early weeks of the course, we had this thing, because if we were gonna serve food to people, we had to I guess you can say, know how to know all the temperatures and all the, the stuff about pathogens and all that type of things. With pathogens being like the germs in food and all that. And it was actually pretty interesting. I actually learned a lot. Like, that was probably the one period during class where I was like, wow, I'm actually learning something, So I don't know if I mentioned this. The program was called Serve Safe. So this was like a class you had to take if you were taking something like this, because you had to know this type of stuff, like temperatures, pathogens, all this other type of stuff, washing hands. Of course, everyone knows that, but I mean, some people are dumbasses, so we had to learn techniques on how to wash hands and shit. I don't know. All I can say is this. It was like a good month and a half, 2 months of absolutely nothing. We practically did nothing, but at least if I remember correctly, we practically did nothing but knife cuts. Oh yeah, we also learned about the equipment stuff and what to do and what not to do. Knife cuts was one of the other things we were learning during this time period, I believe. My knife cuts still probably are garbage, but then again, I haven't had to I haven't had to julienne anything in the last few years or so. So my skills may be a bit rusty. But, knife cuts wasn't always my strong suit. I tried my best, don't get me wrong. All I can say is this whole thing is going to be like, this whole series summed up is going to be, I tried. Never really did I succeeded much taking this course, but I'm going to highlight the few things I did get right, obviously. But, so yeah, I think, so Surf Safe was pretty fun. Like I said, we did nothing for a good month and a half, 2 months until the test. I mean, of course you had to study for the test, because if you didn't, I don't think you had to get some sort of certificate. I don't even think you'd be allowed to be in the course anymore if you failed it a certain amount of times. So I'm sitting here terrified whether or not I'm actually going to pass this test. So I did. I think I passed it the first time. Either the first time or the second time. I don't know. I don't know if I had to take it twice. I quite frankly don't remember, but I do think I passed it regardless, so it doesn't matter. Because I take a lot of time in this studying for my tests and stuff, so until I know the shit. So I think I practically passed it on the first time. Now, of course, there were some morons out there that didn't pass it the first time, and they took it a second time, and then I guess they passed it then, but what else? Yeah, so that was practically the beginning. Like, the whole beginning stages of my time in the Votech, or vocational school, or culinary class, whatever the fuck you'd like to call it. Regardless, the series is going to be called the Adventures in Votech, so... Because I think it sounds cool. But, yeah. There's really not much more to add for the beginning, though. Like, I think we did learn how to cook one or two things. I don't entirely remember. I think while we were, I think if we cooked anything during this time period, we probably ate it. I can tell you this much: bacon. This is even after the fact, after the whole beginning phases and the tests, and even in my second year, bacon was a huge thing. Once a tray of bacon would come out, everyone would eat that shit. Whether it be right out of the oven, whether it would be sitting there for a little while or so, people would eat that shit. Honestly, they didn't care as long as it was bacon. All I know is I took part in some of that type of stuff. It was tasty as shit. I don't think I've eaten so much bacon as when I was in Votech, because I ate a lot of bacon. So this video is coming towards an end here. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Next episode, we're gonna get into some of the more I guess not intricate. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but we're gonna be getting into a lot more of the judgmental part, so to speak, and I'll explain that in the next episode of it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and I'll see you all on the next video, whether that be this series or something completely different. Peace out. Have a great one.